Right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Kiwiway. Well, I've been so close to Christmas, we thought we'd do a bit of a special on our favourite tools of the year. And these, whether you're a DIY enthusiast or a pro, these are the things that we thought helped us the most during the year. Right, so the first tool here is this little device here. So this is a little magnetic holder, and you slip it over your driver bit, and it basically means that your screws or your impacts or whatever you're using are magnetically held to the bit. And this is a Makita one, but you can also get, I've seen DeWalt also have one. They're really cheap, they're only about $10 or something, and I think this is just a really cool little idea. Cheap, cool little idea that's really useful when you're putting lots of screws and stuff in. They generally only work on the particular type of manufacturer. So this is a Makita one. This one's a Bosch one, and it's a little bit different. And it still works, but it doesn't work as well because they've made their bit slightly different. So you're sort of stuck then with using the Makita bits. But other than that, I think that's a pretty cool little device actually.
So of course we're in 2024, 21st century, and most people prefer these square drive bits, and I do as well. There's also the legacy traditional Phillips bits, which still have their place in certain situations, but generally the square bit is superior. It just doesn't slip. And again, if you're working by yourself and you're in a difficult situation, you've got a better chance of not being frustrated because you can just drive that.
I've noticed that these square drives are certainly, or what they call American, I believe, a Robertson. It's a square drive, but very prevalent here in Australia and New Zealand. I've noticed some other YouTube channels, they talk about torque bits, which again are similar, much better than using a Phillips. So the next tool on the list is these pipe cutters, which I've used during the year when I did our water system. I had never come across these before, and so I saw some and I used some. These are actually relatively cheap. These are the 64mm, they were about $20, but the 50mm were only $14, and it's like, why would you muck around and waste your time? They work so well cutting a piece of alkathene or a piece of HCTV pipe, which is what this is, and I would never go back to using the hacksaw blade anymore. These are actually relatively cheap, and so there's no reason why you wouldn't have one. It's not like a specialty tool. You have to spend lots of money on them anymore.
So the world's changed.
Yeah, if you're doing any pipe work, I would suggest go get yourself a bit of pipe cutters. Right, these are something else I've come across during the year, and these are retractable ratchets with the spool inside. I think these are just like 10 times better than a normal ratchet, because basically you never get a mess. They'll bite off on the belt, and it just makes it so much easier for when you're putting stuff away or doing anything. And they're not that expensive either, and I think these are a really cool feature of an extra added feature to just having a ratchet straps. But these retractable ratchet straps are definitely the way to go if you're buying these days.
So another unsung hero here doesn't look like much. They're just old office chairs without the backs on them. But in a workshop environment, these are really, very handy because you can get down to certain tasks without wearing yourself out and having a seat and rolling around. It just makes your life a little bit easier during the day. And we use these for building bits and pieces over this year, and I give them a 10 out of 10, these ones. Doesn't look like much, but it makes your life easier. Another tool that I found quite useful this year and very convenient is this little braid nailer, which works really good. Takes these nails that you can buy from any normal hardware store and they're relatively cheap. I think $25 for 1,000. It just makes everything so much easier. This model from New Zealand, I think, is a little bit the poor cousin of what you can get overseas in the States and other places. I've seen on other YouTube videos that you have other features that aren't offered here in New Zealand, but nonetheless, it works really easy.
Right, so this is another little tool tip from me, and that's baby wet wipes. So I do have a pack of these big heavy duty wet wipes, which are really good to be fair, but these are really expensive compared to just a standard old set of baby wet wipes. So these are really good for doing all sorts of cleaning your hands. You'll be surprised how much grease these can get off your hands, just a standard set of baby wet wipes. They're also really good for cleaning your tools after a very greasy, dirty day. You just basically, there's nothing worse than actually picking up a tool that's got grease over it the next day you're trying to do something to be clean. And these are really good for just cleaning your tools up like that, a little wet wipe, and you can hang them back up on the wall. Really awesome. And these are cheap, really cheap. So I would basically carry a pack of these in my workshop now for cleanups, especially when you're working on grease and oil and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's a little tip. These are good, but they're expensive.
Okay, the other thing that it's always important to have a fire extinguisher, and everyone thinks that they're just some innate object that doesn't really hold any sort of importance, but it's only until you actually need one. And so I've actually needed one this year, and yes, it's a nice safety thing to have, and I'll show you how it works.
Yeah, I've actually used a fire extinguisher 3 times in my life. Once in the house on a fat fire, and twice on a vehicle. And so we have them, got them in the workshop here. One's over there. These little dry powder ones are really cheap. But the big thing you got to watch is they only have a 10-year life. The powder goes hard in them, so you should replace your fire extinguishers every 10 years. So this is a power wrench or battery power wrench, and this is my favourite new power tool of the year, or battery tool I guess you could call it. And this is a 3/8 version, and you can basically put all your sockets on there. And I think this saved us a huge amount when we were doing the tractor work, pulling the tractor apart and putting it back together. This was just an awesome tool to have. If you're doing a lot of workshop work on vehicles or cars, you really need to have one of these.
It's definitely one to have in your arsenal, just for certain types of applications that you're trying to do. Just makes the job that much easier.
Again, these things are relatively cheap. I think skins alone from Moravi is about $160 for the brushless one, brushed one, and I think this one about $250 for the brushless one. Again, well worth having.
And another tool that I've used this year, which actually came in handy, we're actually installing some anchor bolts into concrete, and this just makes it so much easier. I mean, the old school way of doing it is using a socket and a wrench, and that just doesn't cut it anymore. This stuff makes the job so much easier. So I don't know how much they cost.
It's a couple $100. So that's a 1/2-inch impact driver.
But yeah, well worth the investment on the occasions that you need it.
But again, still my favourite tool of all time is the standard impact driver. And this just saves, I've had one of these for about over 10 years. This is my second one. The first one had died. And I bought another one. This is a brushless one, and it's got so much more power. But the tool my go-to tool for doing anything with bits or screws or driving anything is the impact driver.
Yeah. The impact driver's good. There's still a place for the actual drill. Obviously, this doesn't take drill bits, so you can't drill holes, but anything apart from actually drilling a hole, don't use a drill. Use one of these things.
There you go. There's our top workshop tools for the year. I hope you enjoyed our videos over the last year. We've got quite a lot installed and planned for the next year, and I hope you tune in and please subscribe and like our videos. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I keep looking at you. It's really, you need a
Numbers.
arrow. Pro tip: don't put your finger in here.
You should be zooming in on this, Cara.
I am.
No, that's fine.
Being frustrated because you can just drive that in. You gotta drive it in.
So there you have it. That's our top workshop tools. There you have it. There's our top workshop tools. I can't say workshop.
I've started it.
I'm not ready.
Have you actually used it?
Yes. She's good, mate. Say hello to my little friend.
Idiot.
The other great thing about this, well, Reese likes it, is it's got Bluetooth, so you Bluetooth this phone to it, and
It's not actually a real radio, though, is it?
yeah, it's got a real radio.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where's the antenna? Oh wow, it's a real radio. How quaint is that? It's actually wireless.